Good afternoon from Yummy B to UB. I was really depressed until I started this video, and then Leeds equalised at Wolves, and now my MOT lot are telling me that we've just gone in front. Ooh, that's not bad. Right, bang on half time. But sending loads of love to you today. And this is a question I was meant to answer quite a while back. It might be simplistic to some of you, but not to all of you. And the question that's being asked, and I'll do the best I can and give you my opinion and take on how is it if the moral code of the street in that true crime life, that American gangsters can resurface in later life and have their own YouTube channels, get accepted and supported after being supergrasses or informants, and go in state's evidence against their criminal peers who were once friends or associates in some way. And some of you asking about how come there's no Englishmen that are up there with their own YouTube channels that done similar things that are being confessed by those American gangsters, that especially when it's meant to be a mortal or cardinal sin to break those rules in that criminal life, right? Well, one, you're not really going to get Darren Nichols going to be coming up here with a YouTube channel showing his face every day. The circumstances are completely different, if you get what I mean. But it's more with the English way. A lot of the time, it's men who get arrested for something quite different. Maybe drugs or something else, and they don't want to go to prison. They've lost their bottle. Basically, weak hearts who want to do a deal straight away to make their situation better, and they have some information to offer on some serious crime, not necessarily that they might have been involved in. They might have been around certain members of the team, and they offer that piece of information and decide to go Queen's evidence, as we call it in England, and to get a lighter sentence and lock all those men up. Look, the first thing to remember is this, right? That is different from some of these Americans, Sammy the Bull, Michael Franchise, even though I'm not sure Michael Franchise broke too many codes in what we're talking about in that way. I think there was a suggestion of something, but I don't think he went completely wonky, where there was a lot of detrimental harm to those that he used to associate with. Don't quote me on that, though. I'm doing this off the top of my head. But it's worth remembering that with the English lot, most of the time, those people that they're turning against, right, like bigger figures in that crime life, they weren't under harm by them. They weren't being threatened. Their lives weren't on offer. There wasn't a hit out on them on anything. They volunteered or broken, like we've just said already, and decided to go against them. So their lives become in danger when they've done that. Their lives weren't in danger before they, turned basically into rats. Now, it's different with these lot on YouTube and with what you're asking me, because they were professional killers working as team members, right? And part of an organization where they were used, and willingly so, to go and commit serious crime for the bosses, yeah? So it became for them, I believe, in my opinion, is that they witnessed over a long period of time, loads of them, that they've killed members close to them, these hitmen. And it would be in their belief that if you could get me to do that to him and he was part of the team, why couldn't you do it to me? So that paranoia in that life from that neck of the woods was always there. And the bosses have never really proven that they could be trustworthy. They could switch on you at the drop of the hat. It could be that you do a lot of work for them and then you might know too much and they just might want to take you out because there's always somebody else to do the job, all right? So is there a moral justification by resurfacing in later life that they had no choice? Because what do you do sometimes is if you know for definite that there's a hit out on you and they're going to get rid of you, Do you just go, all right, then I agree, I signed up to this, let me lay down and die? Or do you like they did, say, well, you double cross me, I'm going to double cross you lot so that I get to live a little bit longer? And that kind of stuff. So is it moral justification that in their conscience that they haven't really done anything wrong in that way? Where the ones in England, it is, it is, you've done it basically without being threatened or in danger from the guys that you're going up against. I think that's the best way that I can do it. And some of you were saying earlier on, right, is that, oh yeah, but it would have been easier. Now they get black people or Eastern Europeans or other people away from team members and in-house. They get the street level people now to do the hits and all that, and it will keep the heat off them. That's why. But in the beginning of time, it wasn't like that in England and America. I'm telling you, they wouldn't have, the big organised lot wouldn't have employed, not be a racialist or anything, is my opinion again, or my knowledge, is that you wouldn't definitely employ a black person or anyone outside of your own team, because you kept it, you believed at that time, with your knowledge and everything in America and thing, keep it in-house, because the less people know, the better. But in later times, it changed dramatically because they had more knowledge. The criminal mind moves on, of course, with more intelligence. The police would know that they would be keeping it in-house. So instead of in the old days where we'll keep it in-house and it was a sensible thing, so it seemed to do, in later life, they won't. They want to keep it as far away from the team members and in-house as possible and bring it down to the street level so the police would have a little bit more work to do. Also, it's worth remembering that a lot of those American guys that are speaking up there, they've left witness protection now. So you'd think then, if you were scared then and you wanted to live, what would be the difference in later life to you still not being scared? Why would you come out of witness protection? And America's a bigger country than England. It would be much more difficult to find, but nothing is impossible. I mean, in England, Edinburgh's only eight hours or so away, or whatever. You'd be easier to find in England, which is why I think New Identities witness protection goes on till the end of time. But with with the way that they justify with the moral side of things, that I never really had no choice. I've got no way of. Sometimes I wonder if the American lot didn't really think much of their bosses anyway. After all, they were the ones doing the work. And in my books, I always believe the one doing the work is the most dangerous one. But no, I hope that answers it a little better for you. But times have changed now. It wouldn't be frowned upon. And you're saying that there's so many people watching them and liking them, but it's not everybody that believes in them codes. It's intriguing and interesting, those Mafia stories, and people want to tune in to know if it's like the films and what about this bit to go with that bit, who's being honest and more authentic. I believe Michael Francis is probably the most talented man out there for all subjects, and continues to make amends and pass on his experiences, not just about true crime as well. He's motivational and all that, which is a bit different from the rest of them, all right? So it's two different set of circumstances and you can't compare. But my verdict on this one is that on the American side, there didn't seem to be much choice. I mean, times have moved on now. There's drugs involved in that. Remember the old days, it was racketeering and whatnot. You could just do your time and get better, but the drugs brought bigger sentences and more deals are going to be done with the authorities to get lighter sentences. It's simple equations for those that didn't know or don't know. And I explained that the English way, it was very often that basically they just rolled over and couldn't do their time and looked at an easy way out when those people that they locked up weren't really going to be doing any damage to them or harm to them, rather than in America, most of them, their lives were in danger at that time. So who's right or wrong, I'll let you know. But sorry to have gone on a little bit here.